You want to start a business, go and start a business. Seize the day. Then hit us up.
Hi guys, this is Tanya Hina with Hawaii Homes by Tanya, and I really support entrepreneurs and small businesses. And the guests that I have today have a business that is set up to do just that. Their names are Sanoe Burgess and Kawika Burgess, and they're from Alliance Commercial Finances.
So my name is Kawika Burgess, and I'm the president of Alliance Commercial Finance. And about 9 years ago, I was working for one of the largest private landowners here in Hawaii as an asset and operations manager. So I was managing a fairly large portfolio of real estate, during leasing and buying some properties, development plans, etc. And it was through that experience that I got the idea to start my own real estate management company. I saw an opportunity in the market. And so I developed a business plan and started looking for financing to finance not only the startup of the business, but for working capital. And then my goal was to, make additional real estate investments and to work with my clients on real estate investments. And so I was looking for funding. And I met with, some of the local lenders and banks and saw what was available. And then really just by chance, I ended up connecting with a private lender based out of New York that specialized in real estate financing, private real estate financing. And he also did some business lending. And basically he opened up my mind, my world really, to non-bank financing and alternative sources of financing through private lenders, specialty lenders, regional lenders. And so I ended up, getting really interested in it and studying it further. And he also had a network of other types of private lenders and specialty lenders where if he couldn't help a client, he would refer their clients to one of them. And so long story short is I let them know that, I'd been in business and in real estate in Hawaii and didn't know about a lot of those types of financing. And they basically offered me to be an affiliate and bring those types of financing and services to Hawaii. And so I did that about 13 years ago, primarily just to fund my own business and again, the real estate investments for my clients. But since then, we've expanded and now we help other entrepreneurs and business owners get access to capital.
Real cool. Sanoe, what's your story?
Aloha, my name is Sanoe Burgess. I am Kawika Burgess's daughter / business partner. And I'm the business development and marketing officer for Alliance Commercial Finance. And I recently started at the beginning of this year in January 2021, and very eye-opening and, getting to know so many business owners from their own, personal perspective, and then being able to help them from a financial perspective. What's been really interesting for me is seeing how vital businesses and finances, business finance is for people's personal life. I'm still young in my entrepreneurship years, but I like to think of myself as a lifelong entrepreneur myself ever since ever selling chocolates and brownies in order to go to the movies, and then started my own jewelry business. And I did the same thing as you, Tanya, going to the craft fairs and all of that. And so I'm a lifelong hustler entrepreneur myself, and I too, like you guys, believe in entrepreneurship and in the power of small businesses, and believe that that's a sustainable way to revitalize our economy, especially here in Hawaii, but I mean definitely throughout the rest of the nation as well. Yeah, so we are entrepreneurs funding entrepreneurs.
Awesome. I love that motto. Can you say it again?
We are entrepreneurs funding entrepreneurs.
That's awesome. I love that. Maybe kind of educate, like, what are these options that people have and how is it different from the regular bank or traditional lender?
Great question. So, and I think Sanoe kind of just teed it off. First, one of the first things that makes us unique, I think, is we are entrepreneurs, right? So I've been an entrepreneur. I know what it's like to start a business, build and grow a business. I know what it's like to be looking for funding for a business, right? And so I've been in those shoes and I'm still in those shoes today. Traditional banks and lenders, for the most part, turn away like 8 out of 10 funding requests that they receive. You know, they fund the best business plans, the best businesses, but a lot of businesses get turned away. So it's not easy for your average entrepreneur, your average startup, you know, growing business to get funding. And then there is funding out there, but it's typically, you know, small private lenders, small regional lenders. There's new fintech companies using technology to lend. You know, there's specialty lenders. But for your average entrepreneur or real estate investor to navigate the world, the universe of hundreds of small, private, alternative fintech lenders is very difficult. And so the problem we solve is we can be that one-stop shop to help understand the entrepreneur, the real estate investor, what their goals and financing needs are, and then match them up with the right type of financing. And so that's really what we can do. And our goal, like Sanoe said, you know, our main objective is to help the entrepreneurs. You know, we do believe, like you said, Tanya, earlier, that, you know, small business and entrepreneurs are the backbone of the economy. You know, entrepreneurs solve society's problems, right? The reason we start businesses is because we see opportunity, we see problems, we see ways to do things better, right? We see ways of providing better for our families, our communities. And so that's what we're all about, is supporting entrepreneurs, diversifying the economy, and helping people support their families and communities through entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so we see a need and we fill it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if it's a good business, man, does that help the family and then the
Right.
generations to come. I've seen it
Yeah.
in my own family.
Yeah.
What was the why, the vision, as far as starting this? What kind of prompted you? Like, this is our why, man.
I'll share a little bit. So I mentioned earlier that I originally started the business because I was looking for funding for my own business. And so that's really why it first started. Was I was seeking funding for my own business, my own real estate investments, and my clients. But what happened was, since then, I've managed and owned and ran other businesses. And, you know, again, was raising money, private equity, seeking money for other businesses. And last year, we sold a startup that I was involved with. And I was starting to look into other business ventures again. And I was pursuing a couple other business ventures, actually. And then it just hit me, like last minute, or it just really hit me that all the businesses I've been involved in, all my friends and network that are entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate investors, all the different groups that I'm in that are in business, one of the major challenges they have and continues to be access to capital, right, and funding. And then it hit me that I had the solution, right, with the business that I had started. And so again, that's when we relaunched it and made our services available to other businesses, whereas initially we were just funding our own business and projects, and then we turned it around and made our services available. So that was the why, right, where there's businesses out there that have good ideas, like you said, can solve problems, can diversify the economy, but they need funding. And without funding, more than 50% of businesses fail within the first 5 years. And one of the top 3 reasons businesses fail is lack of capital. And that's the problem that we're seeking to solve. You know, we want good businesses to continue to succeed, good ideas to get the funding they need to succeed, to grow.
What makes us different from most banks and lenders is, you know, they have to turn away 8 out of 10 loan requests on a day-to-day basis, right? That's because they require, typically you're required to have solid cash flow, solid credit, and collateral in order to even have a fighting chance. We're able to help people with, you know, with all 3 of the C's of finance, but also only 2, sometimes only 1 of those. And in some cases, even none of those, in which we can introduce them to the world of business credit, educate them on what business credit is as a very important characteristic of business finance nowadays, and help them get financing through that avenue. So we're different in that sense. And many times the issues that business owners go through is you need multiple forms of financing, and you have a handful of lenders or banks that you can go to. each bank or lender typically only specializes in one or two different things. So you have to go through the effort on your own to go through the whole application process, which you don't even know if you're qualified for, and for each different type of financing that you need. So if you need 3 different types of financing, chances are you have to go to 3 different lenders, and you don't even know if you're qualified to work with any of those lenders because you're not sure what their qualifications are. We fill that gap. We know what those qualifications are. We help you with the pre-qualification steps and, making sure you fulfill their standards. We know the types of businesses that they like to work with, whatever type of credit you might have. If you have collateral, if you're looking for equipment, don't apply to a SBA if you haven't been in 3 years. You know what I mean? Like little things like that some entrepreneurs like try to take on their own. You don't need to do it on your own. We're here to help you and guide you through that process and fill in those gaps. And we're not trying to, and I'm sure Dad would agree with me, we're not trying to compete with the banks in any way, shape, or form. They're well-established, businesses that do what they do best. But where we see we fit best is kind of supplementing or complementing what the banks do and catching those entrepreneurs who would otherwise fall within the cracks. So that's also what makes us different, and that's also relates to our why of why we do what we do.
Wow. And you kind of touched on all the kind of the issues that entrepreneurs face as far as getting financing. Are there other things that pose a real problem? And is your solution or your services only for, like, say, the seasoned business owner, or the one that, what about this one that's just starting out and just doesn't have a clue?
No, that's great. I mean, we can help. Sometimes the fresher, the better, honestly. Sometimes the sooner the startup, contacts us, the better, because lots of times what business owners go through initially, because business finance isn't, we don't get taught that in our school, in high school and stuff. And then suddenly we want to start our own business, and we're YouTubing, we're trying to figure it out, we're Googling. But there's so many fine-tuned like nuances and niches when it comes to business finance that a lot of times people end up damaging their personal credit and finances. Sometimes not, I wouldn't say beyond the point of repair, but like it's pretty well damaged. And so what we encourage people to do is, before you're starting to invest so much of your own personal finances, start reaching out to different lenders and figure out what your options are first. Learn about business credit, figure out how that can benefit you, so that you're not further damaging your personal credit more than it needs to be. Ideally what you'd like to do is separate your personal from your business credit. I'm not sure if I answered your question, but you're kind of touching on some issues. I mean, almost every interview that I have with a potential client, if I ever ask, what's the number one issue that your business is facing in either getting started or throughout your time of being in business, I'd say over 90% of the time it's getting access to capital, it's getting access to finance.
So quick question then. How does one separate their business from their personal finances?
Yeah, unfortunately, like Sanoe said, credit, even finance is not taught typically in our schools, even in college, personal finance, small business finance. So we do think that business owners should really understand credit, both personal credit and business credit. And, to answer your question, in building business credit, there's a step-by-step process that businesses can build their business credit, similar to their step-by-step processes, best management practices and strategies of how people can build their personal credit. And there's separate, different strategies and steps that businesses can take to build their business credit. And so we actually have a couple of programs that assist business owners, startups do just that, or even established businesses that haven't built their business credit. We have a step-by-step process to help them do that. Getting their Dun & Bradstreet and Experian number, going through what we call compliance or credibility to make sure that their business address and phone number and website and EIN, are all matching. And then taking the step-by-step process to get vendor credit, to build up business credit through a step-by-step process. And so there's a lot of misinformation out there, unfortunately, about the subject. But there's also a few programs that are very efficient in helping businesses build their business credit. And then what that helps them do is their business can get and obtain financing separate from their social security number, from their personal credit score. And loans and financing that they receive for their business don't have to show up on their personal credit report. And so a lot of entrepreneurs are spending their personal cash, their personal credit cards on their business. And unfortunately, it affects them when they want to buy things like cars or their home or refinance. But there's a way how they can move their business expenses and credit and charges to their business. And we can help them do that.
Wow, that's so you offer even like the educational side of it.
Yeah, so in a big part of a couple of our programs is educational based. That's through a couple of our partners, and then even ourselves, a big goal of what we want to do at Alliance Commercial Finance is generating our own educational content, so that more people can get real information, valid information, rather than misinformation and further damage their finances.
That's awesome. What preventative steps should they take now?
One is, like Sanoe mentioned, a lot of times, and it's uncommon, all of us, right? We all go through challenges in life, ups and downs in life. And so one issue that we see is like when entrepreneurs are trying to start their business or trying to get funding, and their personal credit, has issues on it that's lowering their score or affecting their ability to get financing. And so just as early as entrepreneurs can plan ahead and learn about and take steps to, build up their personal credit, that's one thing that they can do, paying down their utilization, minimizing inquiries, having long payment histories and files, not closing cards too early, that type of thing, but building up their personal credit. And then the second is, again, learning about business credit and how they can establish their business the right way, to build up so it's compliant, registered with the DCCA and the EI, getting their EIN, and having all of their information line up. And then I guess the third thing is, again, like Sanoe said, a lot of business, sometimes they're trying through trial and error to get financing and running up inquiries, sometimes getting the wrong type of credit or bad credit that then affects their ability to get better types of financing. And so, it just like in anything, when you're looking to buy a home, right? You go see Tanya, your realtor, your expert. When you're looking for a home mortgage, you go see your home mortgage expert. And when you're looking for financing for your business, a lot of times I would recommend talking to a commercial finance expert as well. And they can help you, like Sanoe said, the earlier, perhaps the better, to share what options are available based on the entrepreneur or the real estate investor's goals, plans and goals and funding needs.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm learning a lot right now talking to you guys.
Like Sanoe mentioned earlier, if they have any one of the 3 C's, right? If the owners have good credit, we can potentially get them funding based just on their credit. If they have collateral, like if they have equipment, if they're making sales and they have like accounts receivables or inventory, that's another source that we can utilize for funding. And then cash flow as well. Businesses that are generating revenue, we can oftentimes offer financing just based on the revenue. Sometimes even if they're not cash flow positive yet, we can still get them financing. Business plans are important for startups, and having good financial records is generally important, right? Income statements and tax returns. But then again, there's certain types of financing where a lot of that is not needed. And if you have cash flow, you have credit, or you have collateral, sometimes we can get you quick financing without all of the required paperwork and underwriting of traditional lending.
Oh, that's neat. Okay. So then after, how you mentioned your 3 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So after they've So the third step is come see you guys, right?
Yeah, thank you.
What's that? Basically, right? So when they're at that point where, okay, I've educated myself, went to SBA, got me, get my business registered and all of that, right? Now I'm ready to get some funding. They come see you, and you kind of one-stop shop, educate them, make sure they understand what's needed to get the proper funding, and then you kind of help assist them in finding the right kind of funding for
That's
them.
correct.
Is that correct?
And the analogy I would use is like a buyer's agent, right? Helps a client find a piece of real estate, and then they don't pay the buyer's agent directly. The buyer is paid through the transaction from the seller. More real estate mortgage brokers for homes, you go to a broker and they can help you get the best terms available for what you're looking for, and then the lender pays them. And so same with us, where we assist our clients in identifying the best type of financing, helping them to put the package together and get the financing. And then we're paid from our lending partners and the programs that we work with. And so it's seamless for our clients as well. In most cases, there's no additional fees or charges, and never a fee for just consulting, and finding out what type of financing is available. Since you're in real estate, we do non-owner occupied real estate investment real estate, right? So commercial real estate, and then a real hot sector of the market right now, nationally, is fix and flips and rentals, right? Rehabs. And so we have been working with a lot of real estate investors on fix and flips, rental properties, multifamily properties as well. And helping them, get those projects financed, turning them around, making a return on their investment.
Do you help new investors kind of set themselves up for success like that?
We do work with a lot of startups in general, both real estate and non-real estate startups. We do real estate financing, and then we have a number of tools. We mentioned earlier, building the business credit, and that's a real big tool for real estate investors, because we can get them unsecured lines of credit, or kind of like liquid capital, working capital. And one of the bottlenecks, capacity issues for real estate investors is not the mortgage, but it's the down payment, it's the earnest money, it's the fix in the fix and flip, or the rehab in the rental rehab. And that's where expanding your liquid capital, unsecured lines of credit, come in really handy. And so we help a lot of real estate investors get access to lines of credit that they can leverage in their real estate investment portfolio as well.
Now, do these people have to be residents of our state, or are you helping out-of-state people?
I'd say 70% of our client base right now is actually on the U.S. continent, and then about 30% is Hawaii-based owners. I don't know if Kawika, I'm sure I speak for the both of us when I say I would love to even that out a little bit more and help more Hawaii-based businesses.
Yeah.
We just noticed there's a much larger need on the continent, or there's a much bigger population and a lot more entrepreneurs, I guess. But yeah, would love to work with more Hawaii-based businesses and local business owners. Absolutely. That's where our mission is. That's where our heart is, for sure.
Do you folks have a favorite something?
My favorite book is The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Really, it's about perspective. Situations, issues occur, but it's our mind that determines whether it's good or bad. That's subjective. What occurs is objective. Whether it's good or bad is subjective. What the book talks about is you can turn every obstacle into opportunity, and it's all about perspective. Find the good in everything that happens and make the most out of everything that happens. We control what we control. We don't control what we don't control.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So my favorite quote, or just one, I don't know if it's a favorite, but it's one that stuck with me for a long time, and it's "This too shall pass." And it's basically, when I was young, I thought it was super optimistic, like whatever you're going through, rough times, it'll pass. Then when things are going good, it can look pessimistic, right? Oh no, all these good things will pass. But really, as I've come to grow up and reassess that quote, really what it means is whatever you make of the situation is really all that matters, because every moment is fleeting, and and this too shall pass. So make the most of what you can of every moment.
Awesome.
Life is short.
Yeah.
It is.
If you want to start a business, go and start a business. Here's the thing. Then hit us up.
Sanoe and Kawika, we're family too, right? We're related.
That's right.
All in the ohana. So anyway, reach out to them and let them help you. All right. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha.
Thank you, Tanya.